Bonjour there, listeners. It is I, the regular host, Hassan, joining me on the Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined podcast, regular co-host Tristan.
Oui, it is I, regular co-host Tristan.
But you see there, listeners, I am not the regular Hassan you think I am. For you see,
No.
unbeknownst to you, there is something different about me. And in fact, I am an Hassan from another universe.
That is crazy. Too weird.
Well,
What universe is you from?
I'm from a universe almost the same, except we all have this outrageous accent.
That is a good accent. Now, the problem, the thing is, Hassan, this is my usual accent. I just been hiding it the entire time.
C'est magnifique.
Yes.
The sole other thing that is different in my universe is we have, how you say, le cannibalisme.
Oh. I'm just going to switch back over to my usual accent for the time being. Hold on. Cannibalism?
Oui, yes, that is the one. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, yesterday I have a fine 11-year-old steak.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so okay, hold on.
Wait.
So did you eat an 11-year-old child?
Yes, it's like the veal, but human.
I see. Okay, so you're eating human veal. Is that right?
Yes, that is really the only other difference between my universe and yours.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So, so in your universe, everybody has an outrageous French accent.
Yes.
Okay. And then also you eat people.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you do weird over there? Is that
No, it's otherwise very much the same universe. We have all, the same person. The
Right.
Oppenheimer is quite popular right now, and Le Barbie.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like there's the whole like Barbie Oppenheimer like double feature thing happening.
Oh yes,
Hell
it's
yeah.
the same.
All right,
It's
cool.
all the fun same,
Question: does Oppenheimer feature where a thing where he eats somebody? Does
No,
Cillian
he
Murphy?
makes the nuclear weapon.
Yeah, of course.
But you can have the steak while you watch the movie, the human steak,
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Sure, okay. So you can watch Oppenheimer and eat a human steak, right?
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, that sounds exciting. I won't be visiting your universe, so that sounds great. How about you hop into this onto this treadmill for me, and then run a little bit, and we'll see just where you end up.
Well, that doesn't sound. How does that work for a podcast? I don't understand. It's very odd. Perhaps our universe have different way. Normally, in my universe, the podcast you kind of just sit there and talk.
Yeah, typically yes, but I mean, like we do it. This is a video podcast. We do a little experiments sometimes, where we will have things happen. We'll we'll run on treadmills and stuff, and see how many calories we can burn. And also if we can travel through time / different universes.
Hey, I'm not from this universe. It would be rude for me not to do this.
Yes,
So,
it would be very weird, yes.
okay, I would get onto the treadmill over here.
Yeah, cool.
What would you be doing exactly? You
I'll be
just
watching.
watch me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
No
well, I
comments.
get on the treadmill now then and podcast. Okay, I do this now.
Yeah. All right, cool. Oh shit, look at him go. Oh jeez. Oh man. Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Hey, Tristan. Other universe me is. He says you told him. He says you told him to get into a treadmill.
Yeah, the time treadmill bit from Flash. Yes. So I can send him back to his own universe. I just tricked him.
No, I just have a regular treadmill.
Oh, what? I think I had a time treadmill.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
What?
I don't. No.
What the
That's
fuck
crazy.
is this clown show
I would have
shit?
a time treadmill.
I
What
told
would
you
I
to get
do
one.
with that?
I thought I told you to get one.
I can't run that fast.
Someone can.
Yeah, but that's for like Usain Bolt or something.
Usain Bolt's got a time treadmill. Ooh, yeah, I guess so.
Okay,
Fine.
well, I guess, I mean, I thought you said you wanted to talk about how fun multiverses were, but...
War. Yes, that's my word.
Yeah. I didn't mean to set it up like that.
So I wonder what I feel about multiverses. Yeah. So, Hassan, what do you know about multiverses? How much do you love multiverses? Are they the greatest thing in the world?
Okay, you want my actual hot take on multiverses?
Absolutely, I do. Yes.
I don't think that there is inherently any problems or issues with multiverses.
Okay. Yeah.
Recently, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, spoiler, multiverses movie, but self-contained. I think the real problem with multiverses is that, and this show actually didn't have it, but it's kind of the show that really shifted a lot of the film and television attitude where like too many studios are looking at multiverses as a way to try and Game of Thrones their properties and basically turn it into this rabid fan base that's going to be invested in their property rather than just watching it, enjoying it, talking about it, but not going out and just spending stupid money on it. Like, I actually think Apple is really good for the things that they put out, where they kind of just put them out without the expectation that you're then going to become this just fanatical fan of the series. And that's my problem with multiverses, is that they aren't writing multiverses because they're actually there to make sense and because they actually work. And that yes, sometimes there are plot reasons for it, but that really is just studios going, oh, if we do multiverses, all the fans will be like, whoa, this thing's complex crazy, and I need to spend hours reading a wiki.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my take on multiverses.
That is actually the take that I need. Also, people will notice I've changed the background. Oh my god. I'm in a multiverse. That's fine. I'm fine. I just changed the camera. It's fine. So, good take. That's kind of where we're going with this. Because, like, I got some notes. Let's maybe dive a little bit into the history of the multiverse. Just a little tiny snippet. Little snippety poo about what multiverses are. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, what year are we talking?
So, well, okay. So, do you want to guess the year that multiverses kind of start? You might not.
It's either going to have to go one of two ways, and one where it's like 1940-ish, like
Good guess.
God, I can't think of his name, but that sort of sci-fi writer, a la Blade Runner, Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick, yeah, sure.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
It's basically either him or it's going to be 1800s Jules Verne.
Ooh.
I feel he's one of the two.
So close. Not Jules Verne, actually. So. But multiverses have been around for a long time. These kind of began in the 1880s.
1880 what?
1880, actually. So,
but 18 year of what? I don't like. Are we talking like Chinese calendar?
Like the Gregorian calendar.
Who's Gregor?
Who's Gregor?
Are we talking the J-Town calendar?
We're talking the J-Town calendar.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. J-Town calendar. That makes sense. Yeah.
Everybody's favorite J-Town calendar. Technically speaking, the concept of the multiverse was created by a man named Edwin A. Abbott. I'm talking more so about the multiverse in terms of fiction. There had been the idea of multiverses around for like quite a long time. So, you know...
I mean, like, if I'm not mistaken, Hinduism has some of that in it, I want to say. So, millennia.
Yeah, totally. But Edwin A. Abbott is credited with creating the first multiverse in fiction, the first fictional multiverse, in a book called Flatland: A Romance of Many Dimensions. Do you want to guess what that one's about?
When you say romance,
capital R romance, capital R, not like actual like kissy romance.
Okay, all right. I was really hoping that multiverses were not just some dudes like inserting himself in a story, just being like, and then Edgar went to the next universe and all the ladies were into him and he boned them all. So then he went to the universe after that and oh my God, who would believe all the ladies into him again? Just can't keep their hands off of Edgar.
Damn Edgar, damn dude.
Romance of... Yeah, I don't know what that would be then.
All right. So Flatland is about a multi-dimensional... multi-universes, in dimensions. So, essentially it's about a guy from 3D world who travels into 2D land who then witnesses a war between shapes and lines and points in distance.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, also sounds crazy heady. Like...
Yeah. But also just...
Yeah.
The war between the triangles and the circles. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's essentially it. But if we need to really kind of pinpoint who made the first multiverse in popular culture, we look nowhere besides 1961's Flash 123. So, you know this one at all?
Yeah, that's it's where I can't the Flash that wore the metal cap basically ends up meeting with the Flash that we typically think of.
Jay Garrick, yes.
Yes. It's when those two met. You know, pretty famous comic and all.
Yeah, Flash of Two Worlds. So Flash basically is doing some sweet time running tricks, some Speed Force tricks for kids at a party, and then he does a rope trick.
That's what caused it?
Yes.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. But he does a rope trick where he basically goes up the rope and vibrates himself so hard he ends up into Earth 2. And in this comic, Barry Allen meets up with Jay Garrick, and he and Jay fight off three of Jay's villains: the Fiddler, the Shade, and the Thinker. Golden Age comics, baby.
Villains used to have the dumbest names.
Yeah, they're fun.
I'm the Fiddler. Oh, I'm gonna play me fiddle.
Yeah, basically it. So, more importantly here, DC coined the phrase in this comic, Earth 1 and Earth 2. So we now have two universes that are parallel with each other, side by side. And things just kind of like rip off from there. They just go, they're like, what if we have other universes? Let's do Elseworlds content. Let's do other books. Like, let's do Superman as a young guy, but he meets up with
Bizarro's originally another universe, right?
Bizarro comes from the Bizarro universe, exactly. So you have other things like that. Then you have also the cartoons kind of spinning off into the comics sometimes, and vice versa. Super Friends was notably kind of like brought into comics a little bit and then spun out as a kind of a wink and nod to the Dick Sprang era of stuff, and
Yeah.
Dick Sprang. Yeah. So That's great and all. But after about 20 plus years of multiverse teases by DC Comics, fans were kind of fed up with it, like pretty notably. And
oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, right?
Can we go back to fans being fed up with multiverse and comics?
We'll get there. DC then plotted to kill off the entirety of the multiverse. DC Comics is really good at killing off shit and getting the fans involved in killing off those things. Notably, Jason Todd. Very notable.
Are they good at killing off Jason Todd?
Maybe good is not the right word for it, but they are. They do
prolific.
Prolific
at attempting it.
Yeah, professional murderers at this point. DC Comics. So they kill off the multiverse in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, Crisis on Infinite Earths did this legwork and made sure to kill off, like the multiverses, merge them into one thing, so that we had no real Earth 2, Earth 1, nothing like that, and that's kind of fine. They also, as a bit of a fuck you, we're not going back to this, they killed off Barry Allen in that comic book. As a way to be like, he started it all, we got him, we killed his ass, we ain't doing multiverse shit ever again.
Sure, DC.
Yeah. Marv Wolfman basically did this, and I wish he had his wish. Yeah.
Yeah.
And George Perez.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like,
yeah,
there was not necessarily anything wrong with the Earth 1, Earth 2 stuff. In fact, you had fun stuff between the two in the multiverses, but the problem was that, you know, the frequency with which that came up and the way that it undermines anything having stakes.
Yeah, exactly. Because when there's a multiverse, you can kind of pull from any direction and like bring in new characters and different characters and the same character from a different universe and all this stuff. And that stuff's fun.
You can also do the BS stuff of like, oh, remember the last 6 years we've been saying that all that stuff was in, you know, the Earth 1 you care about? Actually, that was Earth 7. We're actually now going to do Earth 1. And you remember that character you were sad we killed off? They're alive again. Because that was Earth 7 they died at. Earth 1, they're fine. Like, oh, cool guys.
Yeah. So, notably, DC had a lot of Elseworld stuff like Crisis, not Crisis, but Kingdom Come, and as well as, I believe, Dark Knight Returns belongs in the Elseworlds category, stuff like that. So then it takes, like I said, Crisis on Infinite Earths to go ahead and just nuke that entire thing. Just absolutely just took care of it. Or so we think. However, in the 1990s, Star Trek, the TNG had a lot of like multiverse crossovers. You're a little more of a Star Trek guy than I am. You're right that there was a big Star Trek. You mentioned this earlier before the podcast that Star Trek actually had a multiverse situation happening in the original series with the evil universe. So
yeah, where they all had, you know, the beards. Which
yeah.
I feel like that established kind of the idea. I don't know if it was the first that did it, but it's definitely the one that popularized that idea of, oh, you can have another universe that it's not just like, hey, what if things went down this different trajectory, but that, oh, it's like a universe, but they all have a thing. You know, they all have a French accent. They all have beards or whatever. It definitely feels like Star Trek established that. And Star Trek has, I'm pretty sure just about every series has had the idea of multiverses. It depends on the series. Like, TNG is not bad because almost all of the multiverses are, with basically the exception of kind of the finale, by and large, the multiverses are one-off stories without any real continual consequences or overarching effect on the story.
Yeah, for sure.
So Star Trek typically has handled it a lot better than most other things these days.
That checks out. I mean, I feel like the writers of Star Trek, like, they take the concept of the multiverse and they give it a hard sci-fi spin to it. So at least there's that. You can kind of count on them doing a good story.
I mean, it's that, and it's also that Star Trek, in a lot of ways, is basically kind of an anthology sci-fi show.
Yeah.
Just it happens to have an ongoing cast of characters and stuff, but it is this, okay, what is the heady sci-fi thing we want to tackle this week? And
right,
Star Trek just happens to be the wrapping around it most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. It's a good vehicle for those kinds of stories. Notably, Futurama gets into this as well, but that one's a little less notable, weirdly enough, despite it being Futurama, and they can just do whatever the fuck they want because it's Futurama. But another big one, though, to kind of go to the point of this aspect of multiverses, from 1993 to 2016, this is more of a side note, but we'll get back to this a little bit. Richard Belzer played John Munch and just a multitude of other shows throughout his entire career as a TV actor. So John Munch was on Homicide: Life in the Streets, Law and Order SVU, The Beat, X-Files, 30 Rock, etc. Arrested Development, shit like that. He played the same character on so many different shows that it connected them via that character. So that's an interesting little tidbit. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it does. Conspiracies like Richard Belzer would love. God rest him. Also, he hated wrestling. Anyway.
I can understand that.
Yeah, he was really into the wrestling is fake kind of stuff. But like in the wrong direction. Until Hulk Hogan put him in a chokehold and knocked his ass out. Anyway. Skip ahead about 15 years later. Not from 2016, but from the 90s. Marvel sees basically extremely good success with the Ultimate Universe comics, especially with Spider-Man and the Ultimates. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Ultimate Universe was a side project that Marvel had spun off from a bit of an What If series of books. And these books were basically your gateway into what if Marvel did some really like hardcore superhero stuff, like not like fun fluffy Marvel we know nowadays. This is like what if like Captain America killed people left, right, and center. What if like Iron Man was a cynical piece of shit, which he is, but whatever. More so, what if Thor just thought he was a god of thunder and was like some sort of crazy hyper mutant or whatever?
Oh, I forgot they did that with him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They fucked around with a lot of stuff. But like the idea was, let's ground it in realism. Let's make it weird, but like realistically weird. It's like it's really like New York, you know? The idea was, it was like, what if we took real life New York and just did that, put superheroes in that. And they had some long-running success. And just to basically be blank about it, the Ultimate Universe, it had some big notes. The biggest notes of the Ultimate Universe is basically Miles Morales, 100%. He came from that universe. Never heard. Okay, well, I did a whole episode on the podcast about that one, Hassan. You should listen to that one. All right, well.
I think you're making this up.
Well, fair enough. I'm not, though. Well, fuck you, man. Marvel seems extremely good success with the Ultimate Universe. In fact, in the 90s, Marvel Comics... Okay, in the 90s, comics sucked. It was bad. It was a bad decade for comics in the 90s.
Excuse you. The Sonic the Hedgehog comic started in the 90s.
I repeat, comics sucked in the 90s.
Chili cheese dogs.
Yeah, chili
I think
cheese
Shadow
dog,
the Hedgehog probably was around in the late 90s.
Maybe.
What about Spawn?
I repeat, comics sucked in the 90s.
No, I'm with you there. I never liked Spawn.
Yeah, Spawn's not great. Well, okay. In some contexts, Spawn is okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
Never liked him.
Hard to like, but it's like, okay, sometimes, yeah, maybe I'm a little into Spawn. Necromancy's fun. Anyway, so the Ultimate Universe kind of introduced Miles Morales, and also Evil Reed Richards was a big one from the Fantastic Four comic, from Ultimate Fantastic Four. Now, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Reed Richards did not start off as evil, but he became very much evil because Ultimate Fantastic Four was basically a hard sci-fi take on the Fantastic Four.
Kind of hard to forget that there wasn't a time where he was always slightly evil in a way.
Yeah, he's always a little morally ambiguous, but like Reed Richards is mostly good compared to, especially with this Reed Richards. In the Ultimate Universe, that Reed Richards, he is a genocidal maniac. So like,
yeah, there's a lot of those in the Marvel comics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, there's a lot of those, but not all of them are Reed Richards. So,
not yet.
Not yet.
Wait, I'm pitching. Oops, all Reeds to Marvel.
I'd be surprised. Well, they haven't done that just yet, but I'd be surprised if they don't do it anytime soon. Because Evil Reed Richards is making a huge comeback.
Go on. No,
Yeah.
like, keep talking.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's
So,
stupid.
anyway.
Get out of here.
The early 2000s called. They gave us the Ultimates, and then we thanked them, and we walked all the way of another 15 years to 2015, where Marvel decided, holy shit, this storyline doesn't have any more legs because people are not involved in the Ultimate stuff anymore. Readership has fallen off. We gotta kill it. We gotta do this thing dirty. And so, notably, they're like, okay, we have this. We have a couple of other Elseworlds universes, and we have the 616. How do we do this? Let's kill it all and smash it into each other.
Yay!
History repeats itself, Hassan. History repeats itself. Different company, but whatever. So,
let's be real. Those two are pretty, for lack of a better term, incestuous with the way that, people are constantly moving from one to the other and back and forth.
yeah, that's
Like,
fair.
Yeah, they're two different companies, but they're intertwined in a lot of ways.
Yeah, especially now. It never used to be that way. It used to be if you were a DC writer or a Marvel writer, you had loyalty and you wouldn't jump ship.
Well, also, it wasn't just loyalty, but it was also like, we'll put a knife in your back if you try and leave us.
Yeah, they would blacklist you, exactly.
We'll just claim Stan Lee did everything you ever wrote if you try and leave.
Fucking Jack Kirby, man.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so, yeah, we have a lot of, like, what-if stuff from, like, the 60s onwards. And then we also have a lot of, Elseworlds shit as well for DC. But, we didn't really get what happened here until, like I said, Secret Wars kind of smashed everything together again. And then we got a whole new bag of worms. It's great. Notably also around the early 2000s and then some, a show called Lost was beginning to wrap up near the end of 2012, roughly. And it was basically like, hey, by this point, we've done some weird shit. Why don't we go weirder? And, Lost ends with kind of a multiverse nod. There are multiverse nods throughout the entirety of that show anyway. But, yeah, it's like, okay, there's multiple people, sort of, but not really. It's the same person, with multiple timelines. But they all do collect, and all this stuff. Yeah. So, Lost is a weird little beast. Weird little beast. Also, around the time that was ending, a little show called Fringe came out. And put the collective idea of the multiverse into our minds, as it had notably was a sci-fi show about a multiverse, where it was we have a real world, like our world, and then a side world. I can't remember what they called it, but basically a second world where you can go and do stuff, and then characters would cross over from there, and all these things. It ran for like 3 or 4 seasons, and then
I never really watched it.
I watched it.
It was always one of those ones that it felt like people talked about it, but they didn't talk about it in the same, like, Lost. People had, like, water cooler talks. People talked about that with their friends and coworkers.
Yeah.
It just felt like Fringe was it was a thing people talked about on the fringes. That those weirdos are going off
Fringe
into their
show.
own specific forum topic or something. They're not joining us in the general ones.
No, exactly, yeah. So, I watched a little bit of Fringe, most notably just season 1 back in the day, and it was all right. It wasn't, like, amazing, but the idea of, like, an actual multiverse on TV, that was kind of exciting at the time, because, being a comic fan for, like, the longest time, TV didn't really do this stuff. Again, Lost had a bit of a nod towards it, but Fringe came out and was like, no, we're doing this. We're doing multiple universes, and we're putting it on prime time, and we're basically going to make sure that everybody sees this shit. And it basically fell off, and nobody really watched it. So,
Why? What? I guess I just assumed that was a Sci-Fi Channel show, but maybe not. Oh, okay.
It was a Sci-Fi Channel show, but also it got
prime time.
Yeah, prime time Sci-Fi Channel, but it got put out elsewhere.
And syndication for you kids.
Syndication, baby. It was a big deal back in the time. But yeah. So after that, though, we have a little thing called, well, around that time as well, we have a little thing called the Marvel Cinematic Universe beginning.
What's that?
It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, they made movies off of Marvel characters?
Yeah! Just a couple.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's on, who are your favorite Marvel superheroes?
Strong guy.
Okay, well, they didn't make a movie about him.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Silver Surfer?
He did have a movie, but it wasn't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, unfortunately. It was on Fox.
Blade!
Also had a movie, not in the Cinematic Universe. Yet.
Oh. Snowflame.
Snowflame was DC.
Well, in my mind, he belongs in both. Really, he should be the number one character in all comic universes.
He's a villain,
as far as I'm concerned.
Just to reiterate, he is a villain.
Okay, well,
he is fueled by cocaine.
Judgmental of you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sorry that he has a debilitating problem.
It's not. He gets his powers from cocaine. That's why he's called Snowflame.
So racist. So painfully racist. No, I have, in fact, heard of this MCU that you speak of.
Plot twist. Okay. Well, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Who could have thought?
Who could have thought? So after the massive success of Iron Man and the MCU movies, Endgame happened. And we smashed together a bunch of movies all into one. Now, the Avengers movie was the first Avengers movie was a notable experiment into making headway into these movies kind of collecting to one crazy movie. You had Cap, you had Captain America, you have Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, and then
Hawkeye
and Black Widow. Yeah, but they didn't have their own movie, so they got Black Widow was introduced in.
I mean, let's be real.
Iron Man 2.
Neither of them really deserved their own movies.
Yeah, I mean, Black Widow got her own movie, but I didn't watch it. So.
Did not review particularly well, from what I've heard.
I recall that, yeah.
And let's be real. Jeremy Renner is so lame, even though he thinks he's the coolest human alive.
He saved that kid, so, and basically got his body mangled in the process from a tractor, so.
Oh, I get it. You were using the Jeremy Renner app.
I'm going to say the Jeremy Renner defense.
No. He had his own app, you know.
Did he? Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not making that up. There was a thing called the Jeremy Renner app. But
was it like the Rob Liefeld app?
No, it was like an app where you were supposed to just post about Jeremy Renner and follow his posts, but
cool.
It got flooded with sexual content, so they shut it down. You should read about it someday. It's great.
I should. You're right. That sounds hilarious. Anyway, so after the first Avengers movie, you have your Phase 3 Marvel kind of thing, and they start mashing stuff together and trying to get crossovers into each movie. Civil War also kind of started this one. Captain America Civil War, I should say, is the movie. And that one began a menagerie of crossover films. And now we have just multitudes of characters crossing over in each movie. And they're often there and they don't belong there, and it's just like, whatever, who cares? It's comics. It's like, well, no, it's movies. It's a whole different thing. You're giving this to normies, and well, whatever. Anyway, so this was kind of done as like a, an experiment per se, to try and get us to try and see if they can just start like pumping this stuff for cash, because they own all these characters, so they might as well try some weird stuff with them, right?
Yeah.
So Disney's doing its thing, Marvel Studios is doing its thing, and we then start seeing a lot of this crossover media show up also in things like video games, and also in the comics and cartoons and the shows that are based off of these movies. And then you have all this stuff crossing over into each other. And then like there's the whole difference between the Spider-Man universe stuff and like the Marvel Studios universe stuff with the Avengers and that sort of thing. And how much more different they are, because you have the weird bleak side of things over here with Sony and the Spider-Man stuff, versus Marvel Studios, where it's all like very bright and cheerful looking over here. I mean, it's equally bleak over there, let's be perfectly honest, but still. And then you have all these things kind of mashing together, and they're trying to make this all work, which means because we have a Spider-Man movie, or Spider-Man movies set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they made the deal with Sony, we now have a bunch of stuff that kind of crosses over, so which means the Venom movies are part of the Marvel Universe, technically, but they're not. So all this stuff is happening. A lot of weird, tangential threads are happening here. But essentially because of this, Marvel and Disney have really bastardized this concept to simply mean anything they control. So the idea of the multiverse, at this point, is starting to tweak itself into IP property.
Oh, yeah. It is. I don't know if you've seen it recently.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is basically trying to crank out their sort of multiverse kart racing game.
Yes, they are.
And it is definitely noticeable of just, hey, we used to just have Smash Bros. As this sort of crossover. And Smash Bros, it was fun because it didn't feel forced. It always felt like there was a logic to it from the first game, where the literal point of that game, the opening of it, is it's showing all these Nintendo characters in a toy box. So it was always this idea of, this is basically, it's like a kid taking his He-Man figure and his G.I. Joe figure and going,
exactly.
That's fun. That makes sense. But we've now gotten to this point where instead you've got Disney just going like, and Disney's kind of always had this, like it had that House of Mouse cartoon in the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
It's always had its characters interacting, but you had what was their Toys to Life game?
Okay, so
whatever the hell that was called. You had that.
yeah.
and then like recently
Disney something.
they've done Dreamlight Valley,
Yep.
which is sort of trying to be like Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon thing, but with all different Disney characters. And then they just put out this kart racer. But I think, oh man, what somebody else is just like announced. Nickelodeon, I think it was, just announced one. Yeah, like there's a bunch of them coming out, and it is this thing where it's like, hey, it's like neat to see SpongeBob and the Fairly Odd Parents interact one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You'll get that reaction out of me one time, and then after that, I just don't care. It's like whatever.
Like,
it doesn't.
Yeah, why would you? Thing, right? Like
Yeah,
once, yes.
It loses its luster, and like Cartoon Network used to be pretty good for they would have stingers and stuff of like, oh, here are not stingers, but the like
mythologies.
No, I forget what you call them, but basically they're not quite advertisements, but they are segments you put in during advertisements where it would be like, oh, here's two characters just on screen semi-interacting together. You go, oh, that's fun in this totally inconsequential 10-second clip. But now that everything is just trying to force that down your throat, it's like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter anymore.
For sure. I fully agree, and we'll also get there as well. But so the thing you're referring to is Disney Infinity was there towards the left.
That was it. Got killed by the blue guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, by Yondu, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That they specifically called out like, we've got a lot of Yondu figures that didn't sell and it cost us money. And you're like, yeah, you idiots. Why would you think Yondu was going to sell?
Yeah, well, Yondu's got to sell something.
The kids love Michael Rooker.
Some do, I bet. Anyway. Anyway, so also I need to point out that DC is no slouch in this stuff. So DC and Warner Brothers, I might say I'm backing Justin Marvel, and I mostly am, but DC and Warner Brothers have tried plethora of times to make the multiverse stuff happen. It's got comics, shows, TV, movies, video games, etc.
Is there any multiverse in Young Justice?
No, but
okay, I got to write them a pitch for season 6.
I'm sure they're already thinking about it, man. I'm sure.
Don't worry, I'm thinking about it right now. Putting fingers to keyboards as soon as we're done.
If there's any way for them to get more characters in Young Justice than they already have, they will make that happen. Earth 2 is coming. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Like, they don't have Power Girl. So, like, don't do it.
We're going to do Power Girl, but she's 12.
I kind of like Young Power Girl. Let's not...
But she still has the boob window.
No, damn it.
Uh-huh.
Ultimate...
Welcome to DC.
Justice League Unlimited did that, though. She was 15 at least.
Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, God. So okay, like, moving on. Moving on.
It was like... It's much better. It wasn't at all, but still. Very gross. Like, yeah, here's Power Girl. It's like, she got the boob window. Supergirl was like 15, 16. And then it's like, oh, right. I think they justified that one by saying that she was actually an older clone or something like that. I can't recall. It was weird. Anyway, so we have a lot of, multiverse crap in DC. They are the progenitors of the comic multiverse, so why wouldn't they? And notably, of course, they've been trying to make the multiverse happen for like a long time. The movies, of course, all have been taking places in different timelines. They've been trying to mash it together like Marvel. But I think they sort of realized that they didn't need to do that, and it was dumb to do that, because a Batman movie has a different tone than a Superman movie. Then Zack Snyder kind of fucked that up, so... And then they have James Gunn coming going like, I'm going to Marvel it up! And is going to mash it together again.
Although I think he said that the Batman stuff is still going to be separate than
Yes.
anything else.
He did say that, yes, because he at least understands
Ah.
a Batman movie. Like, there's a reason why Batman comics sell better than the rest of DC, and it's because DC is kind of campy and fun. And
Because Batman showed his wang that one time.
yeah, it's in that one book about, I can't remember what the book was even about when he showed his dick that one time. But yeah, like, so the majority of DC is like big mythology, big superhero kind of stuff, and Batman is so over here somewhere that it's like, how do you connect those two? They don't really feel.
Detective Chimp, that's out.
He's not really a detective comics character, so he is, but not really.
He's a detective, Batman's a detective, but he's also a chimp, which is fun. He's the perfect bridge between the two.
I mean, Detective Chimp is on the Justice League.
Exactly.
Well, Justice League
The
Dark
perfect
anyway.
bridge.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So they've always been trying to do that stuff, and the movies are going back to the multiverse thing. They really want that multiverse real fucking bad. David Zaslav is just like cranking it the multiverse at this point.
No, he cranks it to reality TV. He's very clear about that. He thinks that scripted TV is stupid and that we should only have reality TV.
I wonder when that statement was made. Was it made within the last 3 months? Because, like,
But I bet if you ask him today, how do you feel about scripted TV? He's like, that's for losers. Do you know how much money it costs to make scripted TV? Reality TV is so cheap. And you're like, oh, so you just don't care about TV at all. He's like, no, I just care about money.
yeah, that is
I
like,
just eat money.
I assume that's all Zaslav cares about. So,
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Daddy Zaz, if you will. Anyway, so yeah, DC's no slouch in this category at all. Notably, they've been trying to make multiverses happen across all of the media they can possibly get: comics, TV, etc., video games especially.
There was just an animated movie that came out, Warworld, that
Warworld.
is a multiverses.
Yeah,
It's not a very good movie.
yeah, which is actually kind of weird because they just did a Warworld thing last year with Superman, and it wasn't that. It wasn't multiverse based.
No,
It
this
was.
is a very bad Warworld.
That's too bad. I recommend the comic. Action Comics goes basically into space and has Superman go to Warworld and fight against the enslavement of the rest of Kryptonia, of Kryptonians. Parasite. Is Parasite? Yes, Parasite has basically a bunch of Kryptonians enslaved in Warworld and is doing shit.
That sounds a lot
Mongol.
better
I
than
think it's
this.
Mongol, actually. Sorry, and I can't remember the character. Superman has like three. He's got like three people who all kind of do the same thing as villains. And it's like Mongol, Parasite, and
Lois
Darkseid.
Lane.
Lois Lane.
Oh,
Yeah, Darkseid. Yeah. Anyway, so they've been trying multiverse stuff for a long time. The DC the Injustice games are also crossovers. In fact, they just recently crossed over the new Superman stuff with John Kent into the Injustice universe because Tom Taylor wrote the Injustice universe for the comics. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the Injustice universe.
I think it's
stupid.
dumb as shit too. It's it gives us bad Superman. It gives us like evil Superman who killed the Joker because fucking reasons.
You
Killed
know,
Lois Lane.
like
Yeah.
for the games where it's the people who make Mortal Kombat. You go,
Yeah, that makes sense.
this makes sense for this.
Yeah. But then
But I still think it's stupid.
but then they put Tom Taylor onto the Injustice world, and like that's the last good fit I've ever heard of in my life. Tom Taylor, who is currently writing the most like upbeat comics DC has ever had, like he made the John Kent stuff and like Nightwing, and like he's doing all this work in DC Comics to make them as fun and interesting and friendly as possible, but also like good stories still. And is not doing the dark shit at all. Like purposely is like if he goes dark, it's like dark but like reasonably so. But they put him on the Injustice world as like his first big project, and it's like okay, here we go.
I'm just gonna say I don't know if it's the worst fit ever. I feel like you're forgetting that George Miller did the Babe movies, so
Did he? The Babe movies, really?
He basically went from Mad Max to Babe.
Yeah, but those are okay movies though. Those are fun.
Yeah, but that's a real whiplash in tone and material.
Sure. Yeah, good point. Anyway.
Put Lord Humongo in Babe 3 is all I'm saying.
Actually, yeah. Or Babe in a Mad Max movie. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, a talking pig, sure, why not?
I can see it happening. I couldn't see it not happening. Anyway, I'll just say that basically, one to skip a few. We got a lot of multiverse shit happening in the DC world and in Warner Brothers and stuff. So we roll this back a little bit, and we now look over to Netflix, who has a bunch of multiverse stuff as well. Well, they're trying to do anyway with The Witcher and a couple other things. But notably, Netflix also has the Legendary in its pocket a little bit. We just talked about Skull Island, so
yeah, I don't know if I would call that a multiverse per se, because they haven't really, as far as I'm aware, brought in money. Well, I guess King Kong crossing over with Godzilla is technically a multiverse, although it happened in the 60s. But I think that's closer to like us, at least so far, that's more of like a singular crossover than a multiverse.
Yes, it is. However, I know that Netflix has Legendary in its pocket now a little bit. And they're like, hey, produce more stuff for us because we'll give you money. Because, things make money for us. And even if we cancel them, you got to put that stuff somewhere. But beyond that, though, Dark came out on Netflix's streaming service back in...
Sorry, it's just called Dark?
Dark, yes.
Terrible name, go on.
It's German, so...
Okay, all right.
Maybe
be a
else.
Translation thing.
Yeah, it could be. I think the English word is just dark. I think there's probably a better word for it in German. I'm not sure. But either way, it's a great show. It's 3 seasons, 3 very tight seasons, gotta say. But something notable here, because this may have sparked Netflix's love of multiverse stuff, because Dark did stupid well for them. It was a dark horse, no pun intended, coming in from the side and basically made them ridiculous money. Ridiculous. Because...
Never heard of it.
Really? It's a huge deal. If you look into it, it's it gangbusters, man. So, Dark rides in, makes him a ton of money. It's a time travel show. It's actually a really well done time travel show. The idea is there's a central column of this facility. It's in a triangle, and essentially if you walk or crawl, actually is what you have to do through this section, you come to a crossroads, and it's split off into 3 different timelines. And it's a present day timeline in the 2010s. And then it's one in the 1980s, and then one in the 1960s, or 1950s, I think it is. Or no, 1940, so that's what it is. Yeah. Specifically, it's still within just after Nazi Germany. Or is it before Nazi Germany? I can't remember now. Doesn't matter. The point is, it's a good time travel show. But Hassan, what goes really well with time travel? Multiverses. Because at some point somebody breaks the time travel conundrum and you get side crossing.
Alright, fine.
Yeah. Because eventually somebody just goes to 1980 and stays there. And then gets old. And then, now you've introduced a new character from a different timeline in a different universe in which that character made a different decision than they would have made. So, that's what happens here, is that this show sneaks in, just squeaks it in that there's multiverses. Even though we basically know from the get-go that there's an old drifter who shows up in the show in season 1, and it's pretty clear that it's the main character, but he stayed in the 80s and went forward. As you do. But so this stuff all happens. It's wild, and it's a good show. and the third season comes out, and that's notably one they have to kind of like end quickly because they start to realize people are not getting the concepts anymore. Maybe it's time to rein it all back and just end this as soon as possible, because now we have like 5 different versions of every character running around doing shit, and we're pretty sure we're scaring the normal people off. So perhaps it's time to just cut our losses. So dark is around this area. And then we get more movies that we've kind of discussed as well, like Multiverse of Madness, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, which I still haven't seen yet, and also Everything Everywhere All at Once. A lot of stuff dealing with multiverse stuff, especially coming from Marvel. We haven't gotten this side of things from DC just yet, but I mean, we haven't actually... Well, we did get one notable thing, which was the Legends of Tomorrow, and the...
Also Flash.
And the Flash, yes, exactly, where this is coming from. The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, their TV shows crossed over into a big multiverse conundrum, and that did gangbusters again. So yeah, they keep making money at these multiverses. But here's the thing: the trick is you got to just kind of dip your toe in and then get out, because if you stay for too long, shit gets convoluted and people stop paying attention. However, in 2023, the year of J-Town, we have all know that there's a lot of talk of studio executives and studios in general looking to basically make multiverses out of everything. Star Wars, Star Trek, etc. More Marvel stuff.
Mattel is literally trying to do a multiverse.
The Mattel multiverse, yeah, exactly. The Hasbro multiverse is going to happen again as well. Stuff like this. They want multiverses. They want that sweet, Marvel cash, because they've crossed over multiple times. But here's the thing, though. Not a great time for them to be doing this, because just this year, Ant-Man Quantumania came out and bombed hardcore, and that was notably the second big multiverse adventure in the MCU.
I mean, it bombed critically, not financially, unfortunately.
Didn't it? I thought it bombed financially as well.
Yeah, it did pretty well financially. Let me just look it up, but I believe it was something like it made $400 million on a $200 million budget.
That's not bad. That's everything back then, at least. So not a bomb, but a success.
Yeah, it made $476 million. It definitely made money.
Okay, no, it made its cash back then because marketing, of course. That's good. Well, hey, notably then, so at least it still makes money. That then it lends more credence to this, as everybody sees that and goes like, even if we fuck it up, it can't not make us money.
Yay!
So the problem is, multiverses have absolutely zero staying power. Like I said, these are great toe dips, and you get out. But here's the thing: this is perfect, because the toe dip idea is perfect for what executives want, because they don't want anything with any real staying power. They want quick money right now, and quick money right now is what multiverses give you.
Quarterly profits, baby.
Yeah, quarterly profits. Space Jam 2 crossed over everything they had.
Oh, that was a movie.
Don't forget about that one. That made a lot of money.
Oh, did it?
And
Gross.
And it bastardized every one of those properties it had. Just simply...
Oh, come on. Clockwork Orange belongs in a kid's film.
Yeah, sure. They keep getting Iron Giant wrong. Every time Iron Giant shows up, he's always shooting missiles everywhere. And it's just like, no, come on, guys.
No, that was the point of the movie.
Oh, yeah, it was. But anyway, point is, Space Jam 2 came out and really fucked everything up, because they just jammed everything they had into one movie, and people loved that. Well, people didn't love the movie, but they all saw it. It made a lot of money because it's another Space Jam. And again, they kind of keep doing this. Also with the what was it called? Ready Player One also did this as well. Don't forget that. They also had the toe dip into the multiverse, where they put everything in one thing. They go like, okay, we can do this twice now. We made money 2 times. Oh baby, all right, we're coming for you. And then they basically are going to, at some point, just take all the properties and just smash it together. So yeah, I'm ready for them to announce some further multiverses in the Warner Brothers world, which you're kind of already getting. But here's the thing, though. Like I said, multiverses have zero staying power, and this is why I want them to go away, because again, they're fun toe dips once in a while. Once in a while, you jump in, you go like, oh, that was silly and fun. All right, let's move on to actual good stories, because these are never really all that good. Like, you know, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, you know, those are great movies. But, you know...
The main problem, or not the main, but one of the many problems with multiverses in particular is, and I forget what we were talking about, but it was something recently basically about how nerds ruin a lot of stuff by trying to make everything have a logical sense, and that you can't just have a thing happen and then basically just go, look, it just happened for the sake of the story and the telling. Like, no, we don't. Hey, yes, we realize that Superman catching a plane that's falling, it would technically just snap in half or whatever and everyone still dies, but stop thinking about that way, you dumb bloody nerds, and just accept that it's fictional writing. And that ends up being a problem with multiverses. The longer they go along, you can't avoid that as much. You can have a multiverse and have some of those situations of, oh, well, if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. You just go, shut up, it's fine. But the longer and longer and longer it goes along, the more you have to actually start addressing some of those things, and some of those situations arise up. And like, it's one of the things where why like DC constantly reboots its stuff like that is because, oh, well, these multiverses spiral out, and now you have to explain how this character reacts with this and why they couldn't just do this thing. And, oh, well, if we just reset it, we can still keep doing this, baby.
Yeah.
Forever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the concept of resetting the world multiple times. And the thing is, if you just kind of justify like, oh, these are all separate multiverses, we can reboot as many times as you want, and we don't have to worry about it. The thing is, like, people will just go and see the next Batman movie. People will just go and see the next Marvel movie, even if it has nothing to do with multiverse stuff. And it seems like at this point, people are getting kind of confused or sick of it. And you're right, because nerdy folks who write a bunch of stuff, like, yeah, a lot of people want to kind of mash things together. But here's the thing. They were doing that for fun, to try and justify some things and explain some things. And it was never really a mandate ever from corporate executives to be like, okay, justify this using multiverse stuff. And now it is. Now that's what we're getting. And it's just like, what happened here?
Oh, and now we're not even getting it from like creative executives. We're now getting it from the top level, just going, no, you have to make it a multiverse, because then the people will be obsessed about our thing and spend all the money. And you're like, that's not going to work for G.I. Joe and whatever else Hasbro has and is trying to make movies out of.
Transformers. So,
yeah, I hear that most recent movie is pretty meh.
I don't know. I haven't seen a Transformers movie since the second one. So,
is that the one that
with the giant swinging balls? Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't even see that one. You know, one of them actually involves King Arthur.
Yes, the one before this
last
one.
Night.
Yeah, last night. Yeah, sure. Weird choice.
That's a multiverse I might actually be okay with.
An Arthurian legend multiverse?
With the Transformers? Yeah. That sounds stupid.
Specifically
as
with
someone who
yeah,
too much of my brain thinks about Arthur and the Knights of Justice.
Fair enough. What about the Capcom beat 'em up, the King Arthur game?
No, I never played that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. You try it. Right. Anyway, in closing, multiverses are just a great way to fatigue your audience with too many side plots, unknown characters, spin-offs, other such nonsense that they can't follow. And like, this is not a good idea. I think Multiverses, again, great toe dips. Get the hell out of there. And comic fans very briefly enjoy these things, but have seen that the necessity of their death happens because you can't have a multiverse for too long without it wearing too thin. Eventually, all of these multiverses start feeling tired and old. My point is, though, that normal movie-going and TV-watching folks who just want to enjoy a show, they don't really want a multiverse. Like, I think at the best, at the most, John Munch was fine because John Munch made his way into multiple different, like, live-action TV shows with grounded plots, and it's possible for this character to show up, and it's kind of just a wink and nod anyway, and audiences get that. Audiences are not stupid. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, they don't have the typical staying power that a comic book fan does. Because comic book fans, we're used to being kicked while we're down, essentially. We love it at this point. We will read your thing until it is pure detritus, and then keep reading, going, "Oh God, that's terrible. Why do we keep reading this thing? I don't know. My God, maybe should I stop reading this? No, it might get good eventually." There's a reason why I've watched all of Young Justice. Just saying. So,
yeah, because you're a psycho.
Exactly. Comic book fans are psychos. Pure psychopaths. All of us. And that's the thing. We understand that. We are psychotic to a degree. Maybe not actually, but still. We are, to a degree, ready for that stuff. We've been around the block. We've seen how this goes. And we know, okay, yeah, even if you guys do try the multiverse stuff, it's going to just end badly. Because it's going to be a one-off thing, right? It has to be. You can't just keep crossing over and crossing over and crossing over. They can't. No. You're right. That is probably what they're going to try and do. Because if you can get constant crossover movies, if you can get the Ghostbusters to hang with G.I. Joe, goddamn, people are going to watch that movie. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
I wish you would tell me I'm wrong.
Wish I could.
Yeah, I know. But the point is, though, that would be a one-off thing. It's like, oh, that's crazy. But if the Ghostbusters kept crossing over with everybody else constantly all the time, I don't think people would catch on pretty quickly, like, hey, what are you doing here? What? Why are we doing this constantly? Why are we still doing this? So, I don't think multiverses have the staying power that studio executives think they do. That's the first thing. However, I also think that multiverse storytelling, just as a bit of a quick one, I guess, multiverse storytelling are, like I said, fun one-offs, but they're ultimately pretty damn lazy. Because most of these stories just revolve around, okay, we have one guy who's trying to destroy the multiverses, or he's made a team of multiverse-based characters all trying to destroy the multiverses and coalesce them into one. Blah, 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 blah. It's always kind of the same plot. It's always the multiverse is in danger. All this shit. Like I said, I haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse. Maybe there's something different. But I bet they've done that. Because that's the main plot of all these movies. And comics. And cartoons. Etc. Everything else. If there's a multiverse, we gotta save the multiverse. It's not enough to save the world now. We gotta save this and then everything else. So that's a great way to raise the stakes. But the problem I have with this, really what it boils down to, the stakes should not be that high. That is not a good story. Especially if every movie is basically doing that stuff. And that's my TED Talk. About why multiverses suck.
Oh, this was supposed to be a TEDx.
Oh, shit. Should I take my pants off?
Can you redo this, but in just 10 minutes? Just talk fast. It'll be fine.
I'll do a supercut of the show.
Just
do the opening and the ending.
Oh, okay, great. No, that genuinely seems like a good spot to end it. So why don't you tell people where to find us?
Oh, shit. You can find us in the multiverse, Hassan.
Yay.
The multiverse that is Twitter/X, because, you know, there are two different camps calling it different things.
You can try and find us. Let's be real. It's probably going to be so broken you won't be able to find anything within a week.
Ooh, that's optimistic. All right. I was going to say starting tomorrow is going to get even more fucked, but you know, I don't even know that for a fact. But I'm just guessing. I'm
no,
sure.
That's every day. It's worse. You're right.
It's true. Every day it's worse. Yeah, go to Twitter. You can go to which is at EIF and AR. That's where we're at. Find us there. Tell us how much you love multiverses and that I'm wrong, and that you know, you will definitely watch all the multiverse stuff forever because that's your only thing that gives you joy in life. So,
oof.
Yeah, rough, right? You also go to our iTunes, Spotify, YouTube as well. Go to those places. Watch our show. Listen to our show. Do what you gotta do. Just enjoy the magnificence that is the everything is fine, nothing is ruined multiverse.
Yay.
Yeah! Congratulations, we got there. Starting next week, we're releasing different versions of this show with different conversations, but only slightly tweaked.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I'm going to record another one of these. Say the exact same things you said the entire time, and I'll tell you when to change it.
Sounds like something that like the CEO of Spotify would pitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. Yes, it is. Oh, that sounds correct. Anyway, you also go to our friend site, was djdane.com. That's the guy that does our music. djdane.com. Go there, listen to his great tunes. And just like, you know, time travel, bring him into different universes. The eighth year multiverse will be there for him too. You don't got to do a whole lot of legwork. I'm pretty sure Andy is going to be the one that wants to destroy the universe, so.
Oh, thank God. Do it, Andy. Do it.
Oh, come on. I worked so hard on the Everything is Finally Ruined multiverse. Worked so hard.
Please, free us all, Andy.
My work. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for another Irville episode of Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined. See ya.
See ya.
Hey.